Hello and welcome. In this video, we shall be learning the concept of tables and we shall be making a very simple project involving tables. It would be one of the more complex topics that we have discussed so far, so stay relaxed and stick with me. In HTML, we need multiple tags to add a table. First of all, in order to create the table itself, in order to design the whole table, we need to use the table tag. We would be using angular bracket open, table, angular bracket close, and similarly we would close the tag, and this structure would be used whenever we wish to add a new table. After that, in order to create every row, we need to use the tr tag. For the second row, we would need to use another tr tag. For the third row, we would need a third tr tag. For each row, we would need to use a tr tag similar to this. If we want to add another row, we are going to add another tr tag to add another table row. Tr here stands for table row. After that, we can use the td tag to create a single cell in a table. So as an example, if I have a cell called name in here, something like this, I would need to add a tag called td and I would need to name it name, and then we would close the tag. Similarly, we are going to add further TDs to the same row, and then we would add further TRs in order to create additional rows. This seems slightly complex, but that would be clear through practice. Let's move on to VS Code now. I am going to go to File, Open Folder. Let's create a new folder and call it Tables. Select Folder, and I am going to create a new file called index.html. Here we need to create the structure for HTML. We have exclamation mark open doc type, then we have our HTML tag, we have the head tag, we have the title tag. Let's call it HTML tables. We then have our body tag, and inside the body tag I am going to create an h1, a heading labeled HTML tables. And now let's click go live. We have our heading here, and let's begin by creating a new table. Angular bracket open, table tag, angular bracket close. We have created a table here, but we cannot see any changes right now because we haven't added any rows or cells yet. So let's begin by adding a row, and then I am going to add a cell td inside it. And let's call it, I'm just going to label it name. We have our first cell here. I am going to add another cell after that, and I am going to label it email. There we go. Let me add a third cell, and I am going to call it age. Now I wanted to stop here and start from below the name for the first user or for the first record. So I am going to go next to the tr. I am going to add another row. Inside of that we are going to add a new td, and I am going to call it something like John Doe. And there we go. Our first row is added. We need to add email and age as well. So I am going to add another TD and I am going to name it john.doe@gmail.com and then add another TD and I am going to give it an age of 28. Here we go. We have a table with a record. Let me review that again. We first have our heading row where we created three cells, one for name, one for email, and then one for age. We then created our first record. Here we added three cells. The first TD appears below the first TD here. The second one appears below email and the third one appears below age. I am going to add another TD. Let's use a name like Alex Smith. Another TD. I am going to provide an email like alexsmith@gmail.com and then another TD and I am going to add an age like 34. Let's save and now we have a table with two rows and three cells each. Now let's remove our index.html file and we are going to create it all over again. So new file index.html and instead of generating the structure by ourselves we can just type exclamation mark, press enter or tab and the entire structure would be generated for us. I am going to change the title to HTML tables, add an h1, let's call it student grades this time, refresh the page, our heading is added and now we are going to create a table to indicate student grades. So let's begin. Table, we are going to create a tr, let's call it student name and tr td student name, another td subject and then another td and I am going to call it grade. We are then going to create another tr, another td, let's create a student called Maria, td let's call it maths and I am going to supply a grade of A. So our table is rendered and note that our student name, subject, grade, all our headings are shown in the same format as the data itself. Inside a table, we would want our headings to appear either in bold or in a style that we can distinguish them easily. So I am going to wrap them in B tags, B, student name, B again, subject, and B tag again, grade. And now it appears bold. But it's such a common use of bolding that in tables we don't even need to use B tags. Instead, we can just use a tag called th and h stands for table header. So instead of td we can replace it by th. I am just going to copy paste it here and our student name is now bold. Similarly, we can replace that by th tag, th, th and th. And by using this th tag, our headings will be made bold already automatically. Now let's try adding another row. Tr, td, let's call it Alex, another td, chemistry, and another td, and I am going to add a plus here. And if we wish, we can use another tag here called sup to format the plus like this. Let's try adding another row. tr td, let's call it Jones, td physics, td again, and then b. And now we have 3 rows added here. It's actually possible to add borders so all of it appears clearly separated. However, I'm not going to go into borders right now. I believe this is enough for an introduction to tables. So now for the assignment, you need to make a very simple web page. For the assignment, you need to replicate this page. It uses a very simple table. You need to create it by using the tabs we have learned already. And once you manage to create it, you need to try creating your own to-do list through a table. So that's your assignment. Let's see you complete it before we move on. And that's it for now.